Welcome once again to it's Friday, but Sunday's coming. This is our weekly video from Evangelical Alliance Ireland. And today I'm joined by Darren McClatchey. Darren, great to have you with us.
Thank you.
And Darren is the pastor of St. Mark's North Church, which has been meeting in the City North Hotel, but is now getting a new building, which is really exciting. We'll talk about that another time. But something we really want to talk about today is a project called The Send. So Darren, welcome.
Hi.
And tell us a bit about what The Send is all about.
Yes, so just to go back, The Send was birthed out of a movement in America called The Call. It was basically a prayer movement. They were calling young people to stadiums to pray, and I think they just had a word from God where they said that we can't just keep calling people, we have to send people out. And so The Call became The Send. It was a bunch of people working together. They started booking stadiums and filling stadiums with just young people, sort of 16 to 25 year olds, and just really seeing this hunger for God. And that the intention was, how do we mobilize and send this generation out into the Great Commission and into the things that God is calling them to. And so it started in America, it went to different states in America, into Brazil, Norway, it's been all over Europe, it's been New Zealand, it's kind of been spreading out across the globe. And we've really been seeing the Lord like equip young people finding like their place in the Great Commission. And yeah, it's been fascinating to watch. And so all of that to say, some people went over to Norway when it was happening in Norway, and the Lord really just said we have to go back to the UK and Ireland and see if we can see what the Lord is saying for The Send here. And so we've been on that journey now for trying to see how that looks and how that plays out over this next like sort of 2 years. And yeah, that's kind of...
And here in Ireland, I mean, somewhat unavoidably, there's like a northern component and there's a south of the border component as well, isn't there?
Yeah. And that's it. The guys just didn't want it to be a UK thing, and like leave out Ireland, and then they couldn't. And so, but the Lord really did say, like, let's, like, this group of islands, how do we mobilize them? And in Ireland, I guess it was beautiful that they let some of us that are from here, like I'm from the north, but now I live like in Dublin, and they let some of us sort of speak to how does this look, what does this mean. And we do have an unavoidable history with regards to the church and Christianity and what does that mean. But I guess we seen it as a real opportunity. Like the north is it's like the Bible Belt of Europe, where the south of Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, is the most unreached English speaking country in the world, and they're right beside each other, and I don't need a passport to go from one to the other, and I can drive, and they speak the same language, and so I guess what does this look like if we do this as one? If we lift off any borders spiritually and say, what could the Lord do with this concentration of believers into this space where there's not a lot? And so yeah, we're trying to do it as one. We're going to do some stuff in Belfast, some stuff in Dublin, but then we're going to do smaller events right across the island and try to call people from the south to go north and people from the north to go south. And yeah, that's...
Now the key thing here is about getting younger people in. And what age group we're talking about, first of all?
So we say Gen Z.
Yeah.
So kind of aimed at 16 to 25 ish, but there's kind of something for everyone in the vehicle of The Send, because we need everyone. But yeah, that's kind of the target audience.
But you say it's to get them involved in the mission of the church, because. You know, sometimes as pastors you can get a little bit cynical. You know, you have these big events and everyone comes to get all excited, and then what happens afterwards? So presumably with a name like The Send, it's more than just a stadium event.
Yeah, for sure. I guess the stadium event is almost the attractional bit. The stadium events, we have one booked for the 17th of May in the SSA Arena in Belfast. We have the RDS booked for the 1st of November, and they're like that's 2 days in a space of 2 years of work that we're going to do. They're the attractional piece almost, where, and I think it's lovely because even in the north, like there isn't spaces where you can gather with thousands of people your age who believe what you believe, who care about what you care about.
Yeah.
And so there's something lovely in it. But there's lots of, like, we're doing leaders gatherings because the Send has no desire to stay forever. I guess we feel like our role is almost bridging, like being like a bridge for young people to like step into whatever the Lord has called them. And so we're trying to partner with churches who can, and equip churches and help leaders and train leaders in whatever space they feel like they need some help, so that they can carry what the Lord does. And we're partnering with other organizations that will help train in their specific field. And I guess we really want young people to reach their schools, reach their colleges, reach their neighborhoods, reach the nations, and to help with help care for vulnerable children. That's kind of our 5 remits. And so we've partnered with organizations to bring training, to bring strength, so that out the back end of an arena, every person that signs up to shows interest in any space, our commitment is within a week they'll get a phone call, and we'll connect them to an organization that can help train them in that space. Right. And we'll then connect them with their pastor and say, hey, your young adult has expressed an interest in going to the nations, or they'd love to help plant a church, or they'd love to set up something in their college, and we're going to train them but send them back to you to pastor them and walk them through that. And so we have a 2-year commitment from this end. So it's not just let's get the stadiums and leave. They've committed to working on the ground for 2 years as they try to bridge young people into their calling, and making sure that there's enough strength on the far end of that to carry it on, and then they'll step out.
And we're talking about partnering with some pretty significant ministries. I mean, I was talking with some people about this, and I mentioned just almost in passing there's a leaders event happening, and Francis Chan is going to be there, and immediately people are, oh, Francis Chan, oh, okay, so they're serious about this.
Yeah, and it's, I guess, it's not starting new. It's new here, but there's been momentum building, and so
there's a track record.
Yeah, there's been lots of fruit. And just last week, some of our guys were with the leaders in Norway, and they're talking about the churches that have been planted and the ministries that have been established, and the waiting list that they have of people trying to go on out to the nations, and just to hear about the fruit on the far end of it. Yeah. And so we have people, like, we're going to run that event. We have a leaders gathering on the 25th of March with Francis Chan. Then we're going to do an event that night in Dublin, and then that week we're off to Manchester and Glasgow. But then we have the stadiums events happening. We're going to try to do something like prayer, worship, evangelism in every county in Ireland, and just, I think sometimes just getting a young person in a space where they're like, oh my goodness, there's no churches here. Like, I think that's the space where the Lord will say, you should. That's what happened to me. I was in a space, and the Lord said, no, you should start something. And so that's kind of our heart, is like, what's the Lord asking of you, and how do we help you get there?
Okay, so let's say there's a pastor watching this video or listening to this message, because sometimes it goes out on audio and radio and such like. So if they're saying, you know what, I want to find out more about this, what do they have to do? What's the next step?
Well, the easiest thing is thesend.ie.
Thesend.ie. Okay, you can't get any easier than that. No,
thesend.ie. All of the information is there about who we are. The information is there about what's coming up and how to sign up for those things. My details are there. I'm happy to meet whoever, wherever. We have the leaders gathering. There's already a couple of hundred leaders signed up to come and be in that room and in that space. And I think something beautiful will come out of the cross-pollination of all of these different streams and all of these different organizations. And so I would be saying it's worth coming to something like that anyway. But if it's not possible, just let us know. People will come. We intend to be in every county in Ireland at some point, and so we'd love to meet with people, plug them in, connect them. I I really feel there's an opportunity. I meet lots of leaders who just feel like they're on their own, and there's a real opportunity here for leaders to be in rooms and go, oh, I'm not. Like, there's other people that believe that they're fighting the same fight that I'm fighting. They're wrestling with what I'm wrestling with, and I really think there's as much as this is aimed at, like, we want to see this next generation released into the mission of God. There's a piece here where we can really see churches strengthened in the process, and I think that's a big win for all of us.
So I guess this all costs money. Yeah. So who's paying for it all?
Yeah.
The $1 million question.
Probably literally $1 million question. I guess lots of it's coming through donations and people helping out. Like, the only event that we charge for is the stadium event, and even still, we're trying to keep that ticket low. Like, the Belfast ticket is £15. Yeah. It's a full day event. It's like, I think it's like an 8 or 9 hour program, and so it's a full day event, £15. Like, we're flying people in to preach, to share, to lead us in worship, and then the Dublin event will be around €15, and so we're trying to keep the cost down and accessible to churches and to that generation. But I guess it's people are like, hey, I'd love to partner. We have lots of people are like, I'd love to partner. I've been praying for this for years, and I would love to give to that. And so there is lots of that, and we would love it if there was more of that. Yeah. And then, we've some other organisations that are helping us along the way as well.
That's good. But if there are donors out there,
yes,
the send.ie.
The send.ie.
Dr. Darren. So, €15 nothing. I mean, to be honest, you go to the RDS for an event, you're going to spend more than that in your car parking than you're actually getting in, aren't you?
Yeah. And but it's not a profit organisation.
No, of course not. No.
It's more important to us that people are in the room.
Yeah.
And so we could have, like, some of the individuals that will be there, if they came and ran a concert, you'd pay significantly more for the concert. Yeah. And so, but we just want to get them in the room, right. And we really believe the fruit of that is worth any investment that we might have to make.
Okay. Now, anything else out there that you want to say to people that are interested in this, or just want to know a bit more, or how can they help? How can they get involved?
Yeah, so we've got, I guess there's different ways people can get involved. We have prayer gatherings that are happening all across the nation. Lots of them are happening online. There's information for that on the send.ie. Again, you can get in touch with me. My details are there, and we'd love to plug you into that. We're having Zoom prayer gatherings that happen, leaders gatherings. We're putting on events for young adults, Send experience nights. They're just kind of smaller, shorter versions of their, like, we're going to have them sort of scattered all across the country. And I guess that's kind of just connecting to what's happening. Sometimes it's difficult to explain it, but there'll be something near you that you could go to and see, and that's much easier to, like, contextualize and understand. And so the calendar will be there. If you have a space or young adults in your church or in your area and you're saying, hey, come to us, no problem, we'll come, and we'll bring some people. We'd love to do it. We have some touring teams that are going to come, and they're going to travel sort of just Ireland and evangelize and preach and, like, worship and pray. And so we would love to come to your church or be in your space if that helped. And we really, we want to encourage the churches that are there, but we also want to pray. We would love to go to some places and almost build an altar and say, Lord, what could you do here? What could you do here? And just put some prayers into the soil almost. And
this is Darren, the church planter, talking now, isn't it?
Yeah, and the more churches we can get planted, it's great too. But there's just lots of ways we can pray. Financially, we can get involved. We can just come to something. It's aimed at, but I think I really have this kind of picture of, like, the older generation who have been praying for generations, just standing in the room, saying, oh my goodness, here's 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 young adults who could walk out the prayers that we've prayed. The prayers that I really feel like the generation before have laid some tracks down, and this could be the the train that the Lord sets on it, and we could see it move into all of the darkest places of not just this nation but the nations of the earth. Our big dream is that Ireland would become a sending nation again. that we would see lots of missionaries raise up and move across the island, and let's see the island set on fire for the gospel again, but that people would go to, there's 3.2 billion people on the earth that haven't heard the name of Jesus, and what if this generation could see it happen?
Amen.
So
amen. Okay, so that's the Send. It's on the bottom of the screen, thesend.ie. See how you can get involved. Hey, I'm excited. I'm in, Darren. So get involved. Check it out, and do go to the website. But Darren, thank you so much for sharing with us about the Send. And listen, join us again next Friday. So once again, we say it might be Friday, but Sunday's coming. God bless you.